Hello, everyone. Welcome back, or welcome if this is your first time. As you can see, I'm unfortunately still on the laptop with the headset. My desk is still being repaired. It needs to be reinforced, so hopefully by next video it will be up and running and we can go back to proper recording equipment. In the meantime, please forgive the lower quality on the audio and the video and any possible shaking of the laptop as I do this. But I wanted to get this video out in a timely manner because we just had some big announcements yesterday, November 29th, 2023, regarding Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time. And I wanted to get this video out to cover them. So, for those who don't know, Level 5, the company behind the Professor Layton games, also released a RPG crafting gathering kind of sim. It's a very cozy title back in 2012 in Japan, 2014 in the West, called Fantasy Life for the 3DS. And it's kind of a cult classic. It's kind of like things like Psychonauts, Suikoden, um, where it didn't make a big splash at release. I had never heard of it. I've been part of the gaming community since, it was all, the Nintendo Power magazines, all that back in the 80s and 90s, where you didn't have like the online big community that we have now. And this game flew under my radar. I didn't hear about it until just a few years ago. Um, but everybody who's played it loves it, myself included. And it was one of those ones that we never thought would get a sequel, and now we have one announced. So up until earlier this month, we were expecting it to release sometime this year, back in about November 8th or 9th or so. They stated that it's going to be pushed back to 2024 and that when they did their game showcase, Level 5 Vision, at the end of the month, they would announce a more specific date. And so today I want to talk a little bit about what Fantasy Life I is, how it differs from Fantasy Life I, or the original Fantasy Life. Just very briefly, I've done previous videos on those. And then I want to get into the showcase aspects of it. So we can talk about changes that have we now know about that we didn't know about prior, um, or when I did my last video, as well as some of the new information specifically from this showcase. And we're going to look at just the Fantasy Life I section on it, plus a couple of related, very brief segments as well. I encourage you go take a look at the whole showcase. There's some interesting games in there. Professor Layton is getting a new title, for example. And, it's just go, support the developers and give it a look. So, with that said, let's flip over to the Nintendo sale page for Fantasy Life I. As you can see, the release date is still showing 2023. They have not updated that. They're running a little behind on that. Anyways, for those who have not seen my other videos, I recommend go see it, but brief description of what we know about this game and how it compares to the previous one. The basic premise of the original Fantasy Life was it's a world where everyone falls into one of several lives. Think of them as classes or professions in other games. And most people pick one and they stick with it for life, but the game is designed for you to kind of jump between them, get different aspects from different ones, though it is fully possible to play it start to finish as, say, a cook, for example. In the original game, there were 12 lives that we got, 4 combat ones, 5 crafting ones, and 3 gathering ones. I'll talk about those a little bit more later on. This one, we know that there are 2 additional lives that at first with the trailers, they were blacked out with just little question marks. We now know what those 2 lives are. And again, we'll get into that when I get into the video and they show all the lives. This one, much like that one, is going to have a central character other than your own that kind of drives the plot forward. In that one, it was a magical talking butterfly. In this one, it is This girl right here that you can see in the foreground here, you can see her again here. And the gimmick is going to be something similar to Oracle of Ages from the Zelda series, where there's time travel. You're going back in time, doing stuff, going back to the present, doing stuff. And from my understanding, that things in the past will have changed the present, possibly. I don't think it's clear yet if it's going to be as specifically tied as it was with Oracle of Ages, but I'd be surprised if they don't include that as an element somewhere. One of the things though about this series is, like I said, you can be a cook. You can start to finish be a cook, and there's mini games for all the crafting and what have you. And those are coming back, and we'll see more of those in the presentation. So that's the basic premise. This one is taking place on an island that you're helping develop. There's a lot of unfair comparisons, especially when we first got announced this, to Animal Crossing New Horizons because of the island setting. They've got terraforming that can be done with that golem creature that you kind of see in some of the earlier screenshots. This one here can do some terraforming and all that. Um, as my understanding is, it's going to be like as you build up the islands, more of people will move in, so it'll grow as a community, similar to Animal Crossing. It'll be characters returning from the previous type game. Um, so there's a lot going on with that. But definitely go take a look at my earlier videos if you want to get a more in-depth at it, because we're gonna jump right into the video here, starting with this little bit up front, where they're kind of just talking about what we have going on. Okay, from here on, as the title suggests, we will begin to gradually release new titles. But first and foremost, I want to issue an apology. Titles that we planned to release in 2023 unfortunately had to be rescheduled to release in 2024. This must be disappointing for everyone waiting, so please accept our apology. I am truly sorry. We want to improve the quality of our work without compromising, and are putting our full effort into it. We hope for your understanding and ask for just a little more patience. Now let's move on to progress sports feature. I'm going to pause that there. That's all I wanted to get from this little clip here. I really love that they're doing this here, that they're saying, "Hey, we're sorry this had to happen, but we will not budge on our quality." It's one of the things I love about a lot of Japanese developers. Um, there's that famous quote from, I believe it was Miyamoto from Nintendo of, a delayed game is eventually good or great, but a rushed game will forever be tarnished, or something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing it. And we have seen this so many times. One of the most famous examples of the last 20-ish years would be Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. It was horrible at release. There was just so many bugs on it. It got rushed. Um, the publisher kept pushing Troika. We don't care. You're gonna release it. Release it. Same release date as Half-Life 2, which really marred it, and all the bugs and all that. And if it wasn't for the fan community and the strong core that was there already in the game, it would not be the game that we still talk about these today. Because it was rushed, it was, whole, so many issues. Or even more modern today, for this same year, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. You know, Game Freak has to do these games like every year. They don't take the time and the quality to release a good quality one. They're always rushing, hey, we got to do it every year, every year, every year. And so I love when you have a company like Level 5 here who says, no, we will not compromise on the quality of our game. If it gets delayed, we're sorry. We'll apologize profusely, but we want to make sure that you get the game that you deserve. And that is excellent. So let's switch over to the section where they're now going to talk about the actual game. Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time. It's been about 10 years since the first Fantasy Life game. Actually been 11. We have supported these lives in another world for all this time. And they have lives capitalized because like I said, in this world, lives is a thing. It's specifically, it's not just like, oh hey, the lives of the people. It's no, this is like your life, your profession, everything that makes up who you are. And as time goes by, here in Reveria, a new story is about to unfold. Reveria is the world that Fantasy Life takes place in. In the first one, it was kind of like the kingdom. You actually ended up with like three big cities you could go to, but only the central one was called Reveria. So I don't know if it's like I'm guessing it's one of those cases where both the capital and the country share the same name because we this is not the capital city from the first game. Oh, and here's the two characters I was talking about here. This is the girl who's like connected to time travel, and this is the golem you're going to use for stuff. This time, let's check out the many significant changes compared to the last game. Let's begin with very essentials needed to start your adventure. The all-new character creation screen. Right here, already you can see the differences. Like, skip back. The old ones, you could very easily compare them to Mii's, like think Me versus Miitopia, the Nintendo Me thing that they were pushing. Very similar look. So this new improved, like they're still keeping kind of the core art of it, but it looks so much better. You can now easily overview and compare parts. The graphics have also improved a lot. If you select the same parts, the difference will be obvious. Yeah, look at that quality. Like on the left here, you just got okay. Yeah, I have the little shape of kitty ears. You know, very basic lines. And if you're a gamer who's like very big on, oh, it has to look realistic, it has to look amazing, yada yada yada, you might get put off by that. But now you look at the one here on the right, and it looks a lot better. I mean, a lot of RPG players are more carried, but as long as the game is not like stuttering and dragging, or and it looks good, it has a good aesthetic, we don't care as much about photorealism. Not all of us, but there are plenty of us that are like that. But still, this looks much better. This is beautiful upgrade on the presentation. So I love that they're doing that in addition to all the other stuff that they're adding in. Of course, we've added new parts too. So you get more eyes, more hairs. Create your favorite look out of countless combinations. With a wider screen, the field of view has gotten much larger. So while you're out exploring, it's much harder to miss treasures or monsters. And let's go back again. We can compare just not just the screen size here. Look at the difference in like the quality, just the appearance of everything. Like I said, this is very, very, very minimalist. It doesn't look bad, but it's minimalist. It doesn't have that level of detail that you would expect because unfortunately it was the 3DS, which Nintendo is not known for their high fidelity hardware. I mean, the Switch is about equivalent to what, the PS2, PS3. The new one is supposed to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna be like PS4 quality, while Xbox and PlayStation and Sony are constantly pushing to be as high tech, whatever. But it's still, it's got a good aesthetic to it. And sometimes, you have the games that try to go for photorealism that look dated and kind of even 4 or 5 years later, but something like this with a more cartoony look to it can last a lot longer. So this doesn't look bad, but now you have greater detail to this. They're upping their game while still keeping that aesthetic that is going to, excuse me, I drink of water, it keeps coming up, is going to still stand the test of time. And in an industry that unfortunately has problems with game preservation, you know, the fact that they're still doing something like this, where if it gets preserved, it's going to stand up, is a great pick. Small ledges can now be climbed, so it's no longer necessary to look for a way around. On top of that, SP won't be consumed no matter how much you run. You're able to fully concentrate on exploration and battles. Okay, here we go. This is the 12 lives that you had in the previous title. There were originally going to be 20, but 8 of them got stripped out. So, of the ones we have here, this is the Paladin. This is kind of your okay, so these 4 here are your combat classes. The Paladin, the Mercenary, the I believe it's these with Major Wizard. It varies kind of which localization you're at, and the Hunter. Basically, the Paladin is your one-hand fighter, using a one-handed sword with or without a shield. Your Mercenary is your hard-hitting two-hander. The Hunter is your archer kind of thing, your long-range bow, and this one is your magical class. Over here are the 3 gathering professions. So you have your angler or fisherman, your miner, and your lumberer for obvious things. And then these last 5 are your crafting professions: your alchemist, your tailor, your cook, your blacksmith, and your woodworker. So, like I said, you can play the game start to finish. You can be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna be the cook. But the game is kind of designed to work interweave them. So, for example, you want to be, let's say, you want to do the paladin or the mercenary. You want to be a melee character for your combat. Well, the miner is going to be a great way for you to get the ores and stuff that you need to then use blacksmithing to create your weapons and armor and so on. You could also touch a little bit in on the tailor to make some other like armors and stuff or clothes. Alchemist is always a good one. So like the mage works great with alchemist and tailor. Um, the woodworker is most, or the woodworker is for like making um, furniture for your house, and you can have multiple houses in the original game. I don't know if that's going to be the case here. Like in the original 3DS one, you could have a specific house in each of the 3 cities, and you could choose between different houses. Within each city that you could pick, but you could only be like rent or own one at a time within that specific city. So I don't know if there's going to be multiple cities yet. We don't have that information that I've seen. But yeah, that they're getting in here. These are kind of the core things, and you can jump between them. Like you can't do it in the middle of a mission, like when you have a story related mission. But let's say, hey, you have like these open spots in between the story missions where you can go to your heart's content and go, okay, I want to go be a miner and go do all the mining and whatnot. And then I'm going to switch to the blacksmith so I can benefit from leveling up in that, like doing the things that I'm making, and benefit from the stat boosts that each class gives you because they benefit that class. And you can work on all of them. So let's keep going. When it comes to the lives, the core of the series, the new farmer and artist lives have been added to the 12 existing jobs. All right, pausing those here. First off, I love the new artwork designs that they have for each of the lives. There's just so much more colorful. They fit the island setting a bit better. Like here, you just got that like nice, breezy midriff exposing shirt and skirts. I love the artwork designs. Now, we still don't know a ton about these two, but if I were to hazard a guess, I'm going to guess that the farmer is going to count as a gathering profession. I don't know how they're going to implement that one. Um, the reason I say that is in the original one, you could walk into the various farms and you could just walk on by their farms and There would have specific spots that you could gather, this farmer does cabbages here, this one does carrots, and so on. And so you could just gather those, and it wasn't a profession. So I'm curious to see how they're going to implement it. Um, and we may take a look at that here, like see if we can find something that someone else has done or if it's in a trailer for that after we look through these. But I don't think we have that much information on it yet. The artist, meanwhile, is probably going to be a crafting profession. I can't see it being anything other. So I know it's going to be just like the other crafting professions, built very heavily on like mini games to make your whatever you're making. Um, excuse me. The quality of like the item you create will be based on your level within the profession, your stats, how well you perform in the mini games, etc. There'll be a lot of factors involved. So you'll have different tiers of qualities, um, kind of similar to like think Stardew Valley with your normal silver, gold, iridium. Um, I forget what they're called for these, and they may change it up with this one. But yeah, so those are the professions, and I love these looks. Yeah, it really sells the island theme. And I've noticed that the island theme thing is a popular one the last few years. I mean, in addition to Animal Crossing New Horizons, we've got this going for the islands. Coral Island is a interesting take on the Stardew Valley formula that takes place on a Polynesian island. I want to do a video on that here in the near future because it just got its official 1.0 release earlier this month as well. So it's interesting to see that this is a setting that we're seeing more of. And I want to see how this game uses that in a way that's different from the others. Because, like I said, a lot of people are comparing it to Animal Crossing. You could switch between them whenever you like, giving your life more freedom than ever before. Okay, actually, I do want to say one thing on that. It is possible to play the game all the way through if this is going to be like the original one as just say a farmer or just a cook or whatever. But it is almost required in some ways. Like aside from that, like it's a lot easier to switch between them because one of the things that if this follows through along with the old one, um, for example, if you are never the miner profession, you never pick the miner profession and get the basics of it, you will never be able to mine for ores. If you never get the fisherman profession, you will never be able to, or angler profession, you'll never be able to fish, and so on. Like the gathering professions, you will never be able to do them until you get signed up in that class and get to I think it's novice level. Like you have your fledgling, novice, and the different ranks. Um, you have to pick up the skills through the like the introduction to that profession. You know, a really I don't know if it's infamous, but a really standout example is if you're the paladin in the original game, you are given a shield before someone teaches you how to use a shield, so you can't even equip the shield until after you get that. You continue with your introduction to the class or the life tutorials and reach that person who can then teach you. Here's how you equip this item. You know, until you go through each of the lives. So yes, you can do any of them, but this is really built. You know, to pick multiples of these. Get all of the crafting or all the gathering ones, several of the creation ones. You don't necessarily need to do all of them. I mean, I'm assuming the art is going to be like the woodworker, where it's like decorating your house kind of thing. But like these four, the tailor, the alchemist, the blacksmith, and the um, cook are really really useful for getting food, potions, etc. Some of the tools are also through the woodworker as well. So I'm curious to see what they'll have with the artist that is beyond just decorations. Moving on. Mini games have been revamped for easier, more enjoyable gameplay. Facing off against familiar monsters, thrilling battles await you as you wield equipment. gained from mastering your lives to the fullest. Okay, so I know I'm stopping a lot, but let's go back here to the mini games. Um, so this is kind of how the mini games worked, and I talked about this in a previous video where I was doing it. But you have basically you can see there's three different stations for every um, crafting profession, and each has its own mini game. But they're basically three different mini games, and not all crafting professions will use all three mini games for all three of their stations. Some will have like two stations that are the same mini game. Um, one of them is you see the ring kind of close in, and you have to hit the button at the right time to get the perfect kind of hit on it. One is a you press and hold it, and the third is a multi tap, which is what this one is showing. Is the tap 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 tap. Let's see, there's the hitting on the right here. I'm going back too far. Yep. You can see this is you got to wait till the ring hits over the A and you hit the A button, and that's your perfect timing one. And then this one is just tap 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 tap. And this one you have like the Nap Dragon, which is kind of your iconic monster for this series. And this is a character that looks to be a paladin with numbers. Show that here. You can oh, I'm going too far. Yeah, this is part of why I don't like doing this. This is one of the elements here that you can do that they're not really highlighting in this video, but it was present in the previous game as well. There is a multiplayer element that you can do, so you can like join other players with it, or if you don't want a multiplayer, as you progress through the various lives, there are characters that early on you can recruit, and as you progress through the lives, characters associated with that life will be able to recruit them and to follow with you in party. Um, in the first game, you also had pets. I haven't seen any signs of that, but I imagine the pets will return. So there were like dogs and cats and the like. I think there were a few unique ones if you had the DLC. Um, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. I haven't seen anything for that in this one though. But yeah, you can see got combat. Here we go, the house decoration. Once again, you have your own room where you can arrange furniture however you like. You can change the perspectives and look at your room as if you were standing in it. It's also possible to place furniture in even other houses outside. So this is where you get a lot of the comparisons. Yeah, change the atmosphere of the island to your liking as you fully customize it and really make it your own. And this element right here is where it's really getting a lot of the comparisons to the Animal Crossing New Horizons. Some of it's justified, some of it is overblown. Because again, this is a sequel to a title that already existed and had some elements of this. They're just expanding it. Like the outside of your room thing was not an element in the first one, but now they're doing it here, which is something that New Horizons did also to compared to previous titles in the Animal Crossing series. So it's not just oh hey we're copying that. It's a natural progression for a game that has those elements. The friends you encounter during your adventures will also appear as companions and come to live together with you on your island. Adventures with your favorite companions will surely remain as fond memories. So okay, that is okay. I'd forgotten that they had that. So yes, that's what I was talking about. You can have like recruit them and bring them as like party members for to come with you. Um, how did you like FLI's makeover? As we are polishing existing features and adding new ones, Fantasy Life I, the girl who steals time, this is where they're going to say is scheduled to release in the summer of 2024. So that's all we have right here. And he's going to mention that they do have a specific date in mind, but they're for strategic reasons. They don't want to tell that in case they have to push it back again, probably. Fantasy Life I will release simultaneously worldwide in summer 2024. In fact, we have already decided on a specific release date. However, for strategic reasons, we are currently keeping it to summer. The game has an exceptionally high degree of freedom, and reaching the end of the story does not mean the conclusion of the game. Rather, it becomes something like the beginning of a new journey. It also supports online play, allowing players to interact and enjoy fun activities together with others. In 2024, in Fantasy Life I, It's time to experience a brand new life. And that's where he finishes up on that. There's one more clip from this I want to play. Um, that comes late in the thing where again they're apologizing for that and they're talking about, hey, this is why we did that. Um, but yeah, that is it. It's a very good summation. This took maybe 4 minutes of like their actual presentation, but they covered so much. And the only reason that we're going this long is I'm stopping so much and talking about, oh, this is what it was in the first game, and here's what the changes are, and so on. For those who aren't familiar with Fantasy Life, the 3DS version, I'm looking forward to this game. There's not a lot of games in 2024 that I'm hyped for already, and the three big ones that I'm thinking of are ones that were supposed to release this year and all got pushed back. So this is definitely one of them. So let's flip over to the last one here. In April 2024, we will host Level 5 Vision 2024 to the world's children. We plan to showcase info on the games coming out in 2024 and even announce a completely new title. So, how did you like today's show? Because of the delayed release dates, I'm sure that many are feeling disappointed. Before we continue here, I do want to talk about that. Yes, I will be doing a coverage of the April one when we know what's going on with it. Um, if they're timing like that, it's going to be very much like it was for this one, where they do it at like 9 o'clock Japanese time. I probably won't be um, doing it live as it happens, watching it live, um, because that's going to be like 4 or 5 in the morning for me. Um, and I may or may not be working overnight that night. I may be at work. I may be on a completely different shift. So definitely look forward to something on that within a few days of that once we know what the actual date's going to be. But yeah, again, I'm sure that many are feeling disappointed. I'm not. I'm really not. Like, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, I wish it was here, but I want it to be good. And what they're showing is making it look like they are learning and improving on what happened with the previous one. So I'm hoping that this is going to be really good. However, we always strive to release products with meticulous attention to quality. All upcoming Level 5 games are being developed with the aim of delivering the best possible experience to our users. We promise to never fail your expectations. Please wait just a little longer. And there we go. That was the end of it. So it is a interesting uh, release. Like I said, they did about 4 minutes on there, um, covering pretty much anything you can think of. Like they didn't talk about, oh, there's gonna be pets here. How are Bliss and Dosh and stars and all that going to occur in this game and yada yada yada. The details, or hey, what is building up the city going to be like? But there's things that they want to leave open to that. But let's take a look and see. Um, yeah, you can see like there's talking here about the artist life, um, new lives. This is a little older, so this is probably before we knew that was just like, hey, there's the two. Um, and you can see there's like a new release window, etc. So people, this is not a bad one. Oh, hey, Josh's Gaming Garden just did just a month ago a 3-hour session on that. I may have to watch that. So this is a great game, and let's go back over here. Like, hold up this. So the 8 lives that were removed from Fantasy Life, according to this Reddit user, Fantasy Life, from the r/Fantasy Life 3DS, from user JSimps72, there were 8 lives that were that were removed from the original. That included Treasure Hunter, a merchant slash shopkeeper, a mailman, mail woman, mail person, whatever, scholar, fortune teller, street entertainer, pilot, and farmer. And you can actually see signs of some of these in the um, original Fantasy Life opening movie. So let's pull that up. Fantasy Life opening. Let's see. Here we go. Pull this forward. This is from Nintendo of America. But this is the opening sequence when you start the game and you reach a certain point. So you got your character here who this is probably like, oh, hey, I'm going to be the treasure hunter or something like that, or a pilot. You can kind of see signs of that. And hence, there's your pilot hint there, like that there's that these professions still exist in the world, and so they may show up in a third game, the ones that didn't show up in this one, or may get added in later as DLCs. So you had that there. Here's a carpenter, yeah, that they called it here is the woodworker, the woodcutter. Of course, you got all the merchants everywhere. There's your mail person. That's the actual signature character for it. But, you know, scholar. That could have been the scholar character there. Your mercenary. Again, shopkeeper. There's that character who might be pilot, might be the treasure hunter. Your mail carrier. Here's your paladin. Your blacksmith. The cook. The wizard. Yeah, they call it the wizard here. I think they called it the magician in, I think, Europe. Your angler. The hunter. There's your fortune teller that they could have had in there. That could be your treasure hunter there, along with the miner. And this is the lead into the tailor. So you can even see signs of some of these classes that or the lives that were intended but never made it in. Even in this one, like there's your scholar again, your fortune teller, your alchemist, which we hadn't seen yet, which is fun because it also makes bombs. It's not just like potions and stuff. Here's this character again that could be any number of ones. It's probably your player character insert in this. We didn't see a farmer in this. So we saw that the treasure hunter character was like the guy with the magnifying glass. Merchants, shopkeepers are kind of everywhere. The mailman we saw. The scholar character could have been one that you could have done. The fortune teller, street entertainer. We did see like the person in like the jester hat. The pilot that could have been the character with the goggles and hat. We did see like the little airship zeppelin going through, and the farmer was like the one we didn't really see hints of, but that's actually the one from this list that we're getting. So there's a lot going on. Um, this was before the DLC came out, it looks like. Um, the DLC was like an expanded story that came, I think, after the main story. Unfortunately, I came into this after uh the eShop was shut off. So unfortunately, I do not have the opportunity to play it. Um, that said, I hope you guys liked this video, this little look at it. If you do, put a like in the comments, down below and leave a comment. Lets me know that you did enjoy this content. If you have any questions or concerns, definitely put those in the comments as well. And I will hopefully catch you guys next time. See ya.